All right, abushia ma mema makwaba emra Odia Sampa TV musomfo Odia Sampa ni. Twedi ampo bi kwa nye mi ni yehwe yenwe de megidi se ohoye. Odoma komada romanti me so me ho ode. Se yete ye ho nka ache. Ai. Anante ye adwuma ya de. Dumre bia ya no wawuram kakra nte no. Ekosrim betwa mu ko hyenze ma so ko ye 1212 galam se ho sansam ya me se me de ho update e de bro very soon. Na we de ye da sori ya eye chama wuntumi Ghana for mon sorry o sisi amenye Ghana ni biem Ghana for mon sorry o sisi amenye Ghana for biem aden na we ena eye Farouk Wahab eye diplomatic consultants papa we de abrene abrebi ameka se eba ne se Ghana Africa Asia chase name it emunsem bia ni ho a obisa na onim na wei ana Digosan enya no ewo Digosan TV na obebisa ne se Farouk Wahab eye wuntumi asem a sorry yi okase Ghana for sorry o Ghana for sorry na osanso eka kire MPP for say omo sorry waka efri se eye omunti ana His Excellency John Dramani Mahama eye ni seyi na ampanso MPP ekuku damfo nyina asori agina a omusi omwirizi chama wuntumi emfa emomo a mene wo kase ye disika is it 500 billion na edi ato na pampa mu na enra mene MPP mpemfo bi edi nkomo secretary meme wo sanwofo ne bi omokra nyanka anka meba bedwan ne party no but Ghana politics no kra enimu nte no metrase na miwie me ho a me se aje we mintumi emfa me ho enhyem aya na mpesa me kwa no matwe asan na oba kire mu se enye sisika no na mpeinfo ni new but because surety no nipa ba akofo ena edane so but ne star no so ne de enye easy ni MPP akuku damfo ni bi oka kire me eno no na yebisa Farouk Wahab se esan se MPP mpeinfo nyina asori ewo security threat bi edema oman Ghana anan eno na Farouk Wahab ebedwudwa ensemu ede akyereye na in fact Farouk Wahab wo me say na dwi modo a ono eni nipa wo sanka Ghana mabunu especially ya yepe Ghana fa hodie no ho ye follow no ni ye tie ni nsam no ni ye keka bisi anim ni ye hwe ede gi ye man no ede siye because obobo nsam bi so a wadwen mu da ho enye partisan na se adwen no mu eda ho na emu tia ubon se ampa ne papa eken ne kwan so ano no na yenhwe na yenfollow obobo odin bi wayomi ene enkofo bi kra me kra no minte omudin ene eniema bi a esiye efri omampanyin JJ Lawrence ebreso kofo breso atames ebreso ebesi Mahama mamuo so ayasan si change na de akofo ado ebaaye na sisi ayasan ede Mahama ede abesi so no in fact odi nkomo ahodo bebre se na be ya mencha menkomo no wadaroma yenko ni yenkotie ne Farouk Wahab ekan ba before say be ko no meso so nya subscribe to Odia Sampa TV a subscribe to channel no na share na like ma ofro mekan buche ko no se na be the video for tuma onsa be kan bi no ware this time around there ya be ko no back to back Ghana munsam ye be di hu nkomo bebre FM no ka say bia o ye bema o mema samu nkoyi oba wo ho dadwene how diabetes asthma hepatitis B in fact me ko sure mo no me sunsun mu nyama ahodo bebre no aba pas onim sa me sunsun mu asamo de aya na mentena enka ne bebre wa waresem no nyama nkoyi o nkrata asam ne obi gi misika ne sa de ni na no de ne obeyese fa number no egu ase ono 054 3304976 yankonko tie Farouk Wahab in some or the two Iran.
Right. Where the him say adaje ni ho side crime tin yen delay. Chairman Bernard Ntribuosi akon edi kan National Security Code ni fie na oba WUNTUM television and radio na obetia mu say Ghana for sorry, NPP for sorry, na John Dramani Mahama na Aban sorry because of NPP nti no mo ye ne sa no. NPP for sorry. We ehu the edi kan no.
In the first place, I don't think that anything big deal, and I say this to Krumha, and I said this is happening for the first time in the history of Ghana. Over time, said, you know, Wyoming issue as a test case scenario and a reference case scenario.
Okay.
Obaka said NDP campaign BB in 2016 leading to the elections of 2016 elections. Obaka said na nyumbi oho Wyoming gangan to amuchin.
Yes, please.
Okay, that song was orchestrated. It was designed by Kwame Duncan.
Okay.
It was echoed by Samia Uku. Na JB, no to be. WUNTUM, no to be. You see, this thing happened. It was the basis with which NPP elections 2016, if Ghanaians do remember, it was based on the fact that perceived NDC officials under President Mahama's governance, they were thieves, they stole, they did. Upon which NPP did a very strong campaign, and I do remember that quote. Vice President Baumia or say corruption, massaging economic figures, and then also there were some other things, such as incompetence. Over Kanyama 3. MPP hit on these 3 to win elections. That's very fine. It's politics. But when MPP got the chance and got the power in 2017, you and I know, say, under President Mills, Wayobi Ochino, President Mahama, Wayobi Ochino, was spending about 3-4 days ourselves. But when MPP had the chance, and I fairly remember Ududu Nanadu Danko Akufo was said, Wyoming's issue is not my time. And Ghanaians' money with Wyoming, I'll collect it for Ghanaians. About 8 years of MPP rule, Nanadu J. Sky Wyoming, Homa Ghana for now.
Officially, no.
No. Wyoming under Nanadu under NDC government, he could not travel because his passport was trapped. His properties were trapped, but silently on the blind side of Ghanaians, Wyoming properties under MPP, they released to them. And this is MPP. Yes.
But because Professor, Wyoming crown hunting na Martina Midu, any position under Nana Danko Kufuado.
Yes, I'm talking about yes. Now, Jifa Ashebo, and then the previous government, MPP I'm referring, didn't see. Leading to the fact that when even the lady, the passport was confiscated and given to registrar at the court. How was the lady able to get a passport? And the same MPP that criticized, say Obani is saying, she got a passport, she traveled on medical grounds. Who ushered and who offered the medical grounds is a government, judicial, and the NPP. And only for at the tail end of the NPP government, as though you are sentenced, in absentia, where now they will do everything possible to bring her. Some of us said that it's not possible. You cannot bring her back because Ghana and America need extradition pact that borders outside the frame of murder case and drugs. Only 2. Besides that, in any other thing, you have to reinvent. But then over there, the lady's lawyer will say, she's also high risk. She can't travel. She's sick. And that ended the matter. Now, the same case scenario, Sir Chairman WUNTUM today, he has been questioned or he has been invited by Yoko or anybody. Nasibia, the party members, faithfuls, as you mobilize you. Yes, we are talking about security implications. Me, I'm talking about it's just a noise. It's just only a noise because President Rawlings, let us not forget, during President Kufuor time, there was an attempted arrest, an invitation of Rawlings to come to the Kanda, national security now. So BNI office. That Kanda BNI office was an office that was established by Rawlings himself. 1, to do good things and to do bad things. It was used also to punish some of also his opponents. When he was called to come in, NDC also mobilized themselves. Unfortunately, one of my friends, who is a Nima Bekas Ubiko, he ended up being shot. NDC formed in up to now, the gentleman Nima Nima and then Obiensi. The gentleman's wife and the kids, nobody, and he died and he never came back. He's yet to resurrect, nobody knows. So what I'm trying to say is WUNTUM not in isolation. He is not the first and you'll be the last. ebia regime bibaba activists. Whether it is genuine or not genuine, for me, I'm saying on the basis that and the two political divide, NPNDC. So the kind of heat, the kind of arguments, the kind of political talk when in opposition or when in power, they see when the power turns. Any other thing, even genuinely, one would read political meaning into it, and that is what we're experiencing. Either than that, Brazilian president, yeah, they need to me, Ofi power, the Lula, Ofi power, no one sources from the same party, what you need to. Chiluba of Zambia, Manamasa, and a vice. Manamasa and only deep hand over man you from one party as a vice president, Baumia succeeding a Kufuado, the excellencies. Okofia 2 days more Chiluba out of Arewa Chiluba the Uye. What does it mean? What it means is that we follow politics and use politics to deceive and use policy to keep each other. I'm quoting say, Mr. WUNTUM, Yenina share the videos, and in the near maybe a social media. Anyhow, or Tine, Ebia or Kanyama or Kafa, today's president Mahama Ehu. Any the threats, any the call it the anger and the boastful arrogancy. I'll put it. And I'm putting it to me a cast across. NDC have done worse also the same time. Different activists. But who says a power son? I dare one say you feeling say Obi you shouldn't power against you and you've done nothing wrong. That is why we find ourselves in. My advice is that the party mobilizing themselves. And then WUNTUM on this radio, as you said, Mitiebi. When I'm sorry, Ghana phone sorry, President Mama say, President Mama Muntina Mebre, yes. Is it fair or not? He would also contend and say, security agencies in Juma. Are you telling me, or listeners telling me, my security agencies in Juma now? But because, the innocent person and the Korea will join, and nobody mobilizes to go and defend.
Okay.
Obian Koso could defend it. In case scenario, you come a judge has sentenced 19-year-old boy to 30 years imprisonment. Because no judge and say you before say a big boy in the case, but none of 1 week. In the sign that the best boy you real judge, your human rights will come her. Has Siraj gone there to talk about say it's just only 19 years? Ojani lose 400 Ghana cedi. Who speaks for that person? So if somebody will sit in a car, Accra, mobilize themselves all over and go to Yoko, wherever WUNTUM is being investigated. Now, we have also issues which I'm saying, pregnant women that fall in Sawam, abroad, they can only 50 Ghana cedi, they are jailing in 2 years. Who is speaking for those people? So this kind of politics, that comes into place, a political figure, if you say and touching or not. And I'm speaking not only in favor of either NPNDC, all of them alike. You cannot use power, and neither should you also use power on the other side, because Serbia President Mama, French president, like Paul Biya, like Alassane Ouattara, and even Nigerian President Tinubu, and Kaswano Kaswaya vindictive and that's okay. And Yama can find me hono. If you are saying that, maybe one would have not seen and that's him who said charge and bail. And you all know said he was charged, he was bail. I don't want when a political activist, and I'm strictly against that. Okay. Either MPP or PCP or PCQ, I don't care. You don't pull your party into your own personal issue. Deal with it and deal with the authorities. Deal with it and deal with the authorities, because at the end of the day, you yourself and you will not be affected. Innocent people travel from Accra to Kumasi. Fortunately, unfortunately, we are humans. I'm a realist. Obi beti many accident. Obi was free. Do you understand me? Obi ni military benya scuffle. Obi ni Yoko benya scuffle. It is a body established by all of us. It's one person activist winning the purpose which they are doing or what how they go about their investigation. But you feel sad, your liberty you feel sad, you are being cheated or you are being punished because of XYZ. That is to advise listeners and everybody who has the chance to lead a political office in any country, especially in Ghana. You should know, sir, the only power here will be the power bit here. Not to say, sir, members of NDC, the also so obi by next year, obi in Fabian, not to say, sir, Mr. Wuntumi, Kumasi, there are people that would also voluntarily come out to say, sir, it's acquire also then a power. Somebody would also come to say that. What do you have to say about that? Maybe I thought you say. Move your phone line. Somebody can confess to Kumasi. On to back us of a land. I'm not into geologist and I'm not EPA activist or a member. I'm not a PMMC and I'm in the Ghana Mineralogy Commission. Anything to do with certifications, I don't care. But if there's an issue, say, okay, Mr. Wuntumi, money illegally, this should not actually be a big deal. The investigation process can go on. But I also ask the security agencies, why maybe Wuntumi at this time? Why him? There are a lot of several miners in the country. Why is he also being picked and the other miners not being picked? Is he the only person mining in the forestry or who perceived to have been mined in the forestry? That is also hard to say. Engineer comes and it boils on the fact that you do me, I'll do you. That is the Ghanaian politics, the way that we are going. And it's very dangerous. And Mr. Wuntumi tone down, not subscribing into investigation. Now we claim one regime in say the Amadetomission because right from police station or say politically motivated. Me, I disagree with any politician. NDC, time, Alhaji Osman, BNI, National Security. Osman saw a civil sentence. So and so were also which government put him himself? A MPP government. Abu Gapele, he went to jail sentence. On and on and on. You bet my examples, both parties from their yomo. Which one is politically motivated and this one, which one is natural? Obi or tell Bonche, I know me media. Say case about the any case in the natural case. Many police in good. You're a politician. Let me come out with this particular issue. Some one Ghanaian politician, ministers, excuse me, are from for a young on both sides. Every Ghana's we won't find a court jail. Ebi several jail sentence 2 years. So didn't you know Kolibu? Or then you know Kolibu or Dampaso. I've been a back contest Ghanaian police activist that day now. Me, I'm a police officer, innocently not anything. Or telling 2 weeks out, or me back. Police officer no small man cop bank to crack in Sika brain. They didn't know for 4 brain and no officer in Binuaji. So it's not under any problem.
Professor.
I'm a realist.
Okay.
And the politician cannot handle me into me political power.
Okay.
But I'm saying it on authority. And I'm saying that call all the hospitals, police officers, innocently, or be a police officer guarding in Biano. Send your guy, I'm Robert be a webra, or a politician or her, or a police officer. Because any parent can be done. No. No, try yourself. What drafting, creating, adding about no other family member. If you know woman have a receptionist, more be at now. If you call a police officer, yes, okay, try not for Papa, will be so from also Jim. Or no, here in Sika or check banker, police officer and the Kui. All the people in Sika Manu. Negate the Adraneba, Pesiba, was old officer, didn't the Abakoji, and to make my sorry cracks or Yako. That is how we treat ourselves as a country said. There are politicians and run into me. That is what Wuntumi is crying. And that is what others NDC people also cried, said, be a politician. If you cross a media, we get you. If you cross a media, we sell. But Papa, it's like area. Obia no ope. And yes, of course, but you found who did with liberty within that 5 minutes now. You see, I do watch at all. You saw John Pabuano. Something comes into your mind, said, your liberty, your liberation, your freedom have been curtailed. And that is the fear. Obia on the calculus my phone. It is like that. And I didn't know you will be in your demo. And find you. Now, maybe I said, yes, national security, BNI, Yoko, they can handle it professionally without creating any drama. But then, Wuntumi also said, what declare was stand, they said, BBI genuine, BBI why that kind of a route? Why that kind of say, who raising, ignited the passions and then also creating fears? You don't do that in a country. Maybe they may show. We can say one single politician can plug this country into any chaos. Tell him or her, say it is not possible. And I've given several different definitions, and I've given a lot of lectures. Said this particular country, green belts, the green belt area, I say, you are the most enhanced progressive cross-tribal marriage.
Okay.
Cross-tribal marriage, Ghana tribe, unlike tribes like in Kenya, unlike tribes like in Nigeria, unlike tribes like in other parts of Africa. In the Ghana family, United Nations. Open parliament, parliamentarian be a free north to be an free south.
Okay.
And to another money brief north for no, the money self free south. And so target here, you are out.
Okay.
Okay, yes, of course, check it out. Cross tribal marriage, Ghana talks of the whole Africa. Okay, yes, sorry. You're preaching a Sabi Krobuni. You're translating a Santini and also to Krobo. And our church members, elder, Ubenya Kren, Ubenya Kwapin, Ubenya We. Now, so a community where there's a congregation of residential area and that's a community area where we have the two dominant religions, Islam and Christianity. For Nima, there are churches in the middle of Nima, at the back of mosque. Yeah, Azan and the Papa 4:30. Now Azan say Allah Akbar. Yeah, so you 5:15. Imam two Fati Apego said, I sorry for sorry. Yamikania Gianni Mono Mubonum. What is your vehicle?
There be a.
But in Tampozongo, for sorry, see, Zongo. Because we just Zongo. Never I can Nima, Comedina. Document, said document inside at the back of mosque will be on a spiritual church. And from 4 years or non social come. Do we fight? No. No politician can push this country. And I've also said the Ghana security agencies, which are condemned all the time, said the security profile of the country, they should bring it. They don't have it. They don't have the security profile. Yes,
they don't have the data.
They don't have the security profile because under President Kufuor, the most wanted man in Ghana was a common criminal.
Okay.
President Kufuor 2005. Atayi Kofi was the original commander Accra. Sikam the man song for Atayi 500 Ghana cedis.
500 cedis now they coach Obiani profile. The criminal profile was
wanted. And then the profile, the most wanted man in Ghana at the time. Sought for, looked for by President Kufuor's regime was Atayi. Sky they continue 500 Ghana cedis. When we say Ghana, obituary the military uniform, no. When we say your police presence, our military, our bush, no. And I've asked several times, said, our country security profile, only one man will say, Omumra, MTM said, Ghana police service in uniform 10, I register officers in Young Woman. Ghana military intelligence and family said, your soldiers go my defective, Young Woman. What about immigration? What about prison service? Paramilitary and then all the security community. You don't have it. And the bush in a clear bush. Well, it is clear bush. Because land Ghana no and your government the idea. The Ghana country land, it belongs to the chiefs. It belongs to the town. And now Hinana Chama the subjects. And you may come from Nasa Obijna, no military uniform. And once I'm about Gongon, about the flashing in the Ghana, soldier needs to meet them cool.
Okay.
Police in to them cool. And the country cannot have a civil unrest. That will bust the whole country into crisis. And we are home. And now said the minority tribes in our north. Because a Concord and your friends and Mampusi Kusashi. Have you seen such flights, painting escalating? It's within them themselves.
Okay.
Because Katrinin Koku be Makusashi. But then you could be Mamma Pussy. What I then say, one uncle Johnny, but that's Uncle Johnny. Bimo Basisala, Uncle Johnny, and my pussy to Kusash Roman Concomic. It cannot escalate. And yes, as I fight in Kaba. There is not a national issue. It is a national security issue. It is a failure of investigations and failure of what? Intelligence. And we gather wrong intelligence and we don't process. Ghana can gather more intelligence, but our processes the West. That is why some of these things. Alavanyo and Konya. Fight every 32 years. The Tiabo Fred. Ghana Army, or course, Sudan Kopatem, Toka, Untimu Kopata Alavanyo and Konya. It is a sweet country. You understand me? And Obiano Niasa, and to a politician, won't move at him, whoever can also shout. When it comes to wagging people to go and fight, nobody will fight for you. And whoever goes to fight for you, fight for yourself. Open a security agency, power, would you yeah, of course. Because there's no insurance. Ghana Army, Ghana Police, our operations, none need to cover. Only insurance be any America. Working free. And why would you let somebody's issue? Why would it turn out to be a party issue? Why does it become a political campaign? Why does it become political speeches? It's because NDC for YB. And the ministry of doing time soon YB. In the time and NPP positive NDC for me. When government arrested Kokwe at the time, was that not NPP? At the end of the day, they drafted him to be an NPP supporter. This is the beauty of the country.
Okay.
This is the beauty of the country. Kokwe was doing campaign more or less indirectly, speaking for NPP government. We are still not. Exactly. And the politicians are trying to say, country, and I'm saying, your boots are clear. And you bind your Cote d'Ivoire government in land. It will be a thing. That is why Rollins was able to survive 23 coup d'etat. Because Jiwa be a coup, small boys, no, home grant man, sir, Omen, man, sir, Jiwa quite chrome, Baku for an chain, my jelly chain, the coup. What I said, only what I say you cool. Any cassette, I show more broadcast in Johnny. Your friend say, College consider any Mikaso Moko, rolling some go for some passing Johnny. Yeah, just common cassette. That's what you are party team or name the small boys. Police won't be part on the ASL cool. One question not one. Not necessarily a chill will because of forgotten by it or quite another voice who will woman have a beach. And no fair army sample for Benham T. You are ever cool better your friends at FSBs. So this country, you can't hide, you can't do anything. We have a self-security by the land system and then the ownership of land. And here one. 2, sorry, I'm united and ultimately divided. 3, Oko parliamentarians now for when you remember assignments. Me am true Farouk Wahab. Yes, we want to obi want to pepe ni obi am jitum. But for you to know, my great grandmother or a votaria or I'm ready and for palace only free. Kumasi you for me. Kumasi yourself Adiababa. I'm from Adiababa Palace. But in your family for every votarage in the bay. Who position for 2 for back to baby obefa. Yana na madumba. But you are Santa for, but you are Santa for. If you not just to come Bhutan, little royal family in Bhutan, voter, and Freiga Palace. That's where we are from. You see the dynamics of Ghana. Come to Greater Accra, come to Kumasi. There be other friend, they are Papa, and Mammy, so they're more boys, no, yeah, because our girlfriend, baby, and Mammy, no, Papa, no, Papa, who wants a family, baby, now of course, of 4 tribes.
Of course.
What did they? What are United Nations? That is why there's a peace. And then it is a peace without any ink. And we will politicians, when they are arrested, no more subscribe for investigation. Not security of authorities. Some will be a money looking like the political affiliation and our channel. By the end of the day, between you and I, won't me issue like Wyoming can't issue him.
Hey,
like any other political high profile cases. What's saying?
Wooding.
Papa, say you say MPP so day. Mr. Puni Echo Court.
Okay, go board.
8 years. 8 years. I do baby no. Not yet state witnesses of states against Mr. Pupinin. They turn out even to criticize the state. That is the beauty of it. At the end of the day, she said, and NPP for also, government man, yes, they didn't find anything. So it's possible that NDC so will not find anything with Mr. WUNTUM. So why the noise? Mr. Police also one fair politician, one fair NDC, or Coco, but until this kind of massive demonstration. All this boils down on the fact that NPNDC, we the innocent Ghanaians, we are saying, say, Bunchime, Ekoma, Mamim Kansem Show. Sabi Afra Wojina Street so, Airtown, Doctor. These boys at the end of the day, Onu Kojina, Okana Ara, Hokake, Oka no send it 5 cities, their money, mammy, oh, Momo. Sakran going to me recruiting nation, Army to Congo. Won't you mean recruiting says IGF army? Won't you mean Chinese out in Cochaniums on your rebellion? Won't you mean a terrorist? No terrorist group had been formed on the basis of Ghana. Over Kaisia by election 2017, MPPT vigilante, NDC force TB. When you election now, Nanado air sworn in. There was an issue of vigilantes, Echo Court, Echo UDB. Papa Sam was in him.
No, almost opium for free. Court for no.
Yes. Some of us said a nonsense use of that word because vigilante be no about tie. SSH, court, every court. That was no more massive vigilantes. Obi akona na ire ne maame na so for DHT. Vigilante or suffer. Vigilante or imam how ko no court. At the end of the day, then you Obi akona fi akwa dan kudi fufu. So we should stop creating this kind of unnecessary heat. It is not right.
Honokra Professor, Yungra Oka Grabina, Yamanju Home, Sa vigilantes, then Sancro no. Mekaya, on the 18th of April 2012, it was Wednesday, and Honorable Canada Japan, it treason homes and some genocide. Efa Ushiang and Nia Bonibini Sans and some no. Sa vigilantes, Yani party for ya could cheshi home di Muama, Honorable Omujano. Ye Casey. Honorable Kennedy Nkomobi Treasures, Ancrophone, the Omo for there. Abaniba power near Jaumas, Ancrophone be Akosha national security. I don't know, so you're aware of these things.
Baba, let me tell you, NPNDC, they shoot themselves in their own foot. And whatever they do, they establish, they come what you sow, you reap what you sow. Okay. And it said, so the national security, the parameters of recruitment are, to me, yana ya rahokeke. Because NDC abey, yes you be lodu, omso be lodu, gosu be lodu. That is what they will say. Yes you be far. NPP buy no, onu susu lodu ye. Yes you lodu, eya buy na ba. You get it? Overco airport no, near the boys ne go, yamane gutter. Na country buying and the national security days, as the Germans will call the service. We're not intimidating the national gutter, which is the communication gadget to the crown. Every and son was so trustful. No argument. When you're national security, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Now will be unofficially all the man paying about Masalanta one track. Can you report it? No, it's made the government in my says 8 years. No, then I'm not disturbing for in the end, mobilizing on what in the land guard. Country Ben, you're using national security co-defending for land. Country Ben, you're using the Bureau of National Investigation, co-defending for land. It's because we pick them as party activists with that process. We pick them with that training. Come on, some training for. Go to Senegal, a West African country, the whole year, murder case here 1 or 2, no more than 3. Senegal will be under 10 minutes. So much you want to say Nipano. Find out, correct the data, correct data of how they run the Ghana unresolved mystery of Obiewu, Attorney General or Department correct. Nipa Yakum investigation inconclusive. Our police team conclude Attorney General, every Obikumobia, now police team prosecute, Attorney General Nema advice. Is the police that prosecute and put you to jail, not the Attorney General. So we have a very, like the United Nations, a republic of what? Freedom. Joking paradise. Of course, Ghana is a joking paradise. You don't know.
Oh, yeah, serious country.
It is a joking paradise, quote me, anywhere. We are not serious with anything. Anyway, easy. Yeah, the Switzerland of Africa. Yeah, there's no country that sees peace, has peace more than Ghana. We need tribal, civil, and only religious, and only even economic crime, and put you on the street of Accra, and put you on the street of Kumasi to fight. How much more do individual politicians try to say, there be now one government they should be back and yeah, MPP by and the BB, and this bad government as a mob watching, what kind of story? No, watching the boarding gate. It's saying, was that not also one of those things? It's no parties in you, they should learn out of this. Some of this interview won't push because some of us will subscribe to every good governance. Wow. We don't subscribe to any good governance, any bad governance. I don't care because I'm not prepared for any appointment. But somebody must speak for Ghanaians. So I hear too much. So hear me and a cockroach and you didn't too without any serious issue. Young first cafon should too sa pepepe. Nobody, you and I cannot say said two governments will be about years at the end of the day, and then you let them, any of them come to tell us where they got their money from. But they are okay. Can't you need the beach of it? You must have a view being in Sika. Well, it's a penny overnight, you'll be a Musano. There is a beauty of a country. I don't think the person you push here only a fighting. Honorable to me. And you have on Bekuno, and then you have on Babono. Ghana, thank God, Rollins, and stop with the beatings. Ghana police service on watching criminal in the exchange of guns. Watching another police block and no one has our country. Meanwhile, no police in your body 2 on the night. Like I'll say, the suspect. How does the person become a suspect? I'm going to shoot you. It is alleged. Meanwhile, you are the main suspect, the main person. Because you're so swelling headed. You're so easy. Or to manipulate any part of our judicial system and our laws. If the police officer claims to me in country and say, it's your crime, what you will do, no more combatable to teach you. One I'll pinch you, a booba will come with you. Who question and no, or no any police service investigator said the suspect. It is alleged. Country and Obi Kumnipo Bisu. That is the rampant user. And I say, the security for now, no Kumkumu. What do you want to bottom the car? Yamo 300,000 safer. Ukuna Dabeji.
Hey.
And this one, I'm no one, when I'm one Jario who can go for this camera.
Oh, when you're now when you think I cried on them, the central market, Hanum Kumasaya. Why who be there?
When you're put on your whole rush and you photo fist, you try now your movie. No being James and his phone. Office and repeal to that one will shoot you.
Now, about I ain't say instant justice. Nabia.
Instant justice need a bank. Martial law. Instant justice need a who control migration 40 border push. Now I call you Nipa 7 migration for now for. What you are must say a suspect. It is alleged. Mammy from Musia, na Yampa Bepa, Yanti the Mexican said, wow, Unia, Wadanfo, I will be this kind of a case, you said, even in the heat of the issue of WUNTUM, he didn't spend more than maybe 2 hours in police cells at the police station and your money bail. So if the president was on an inquiry bail, at what point does the party mobilize themselves and go there? Abra Yoko, actually the ordinary, it's just a kind of police. They are not in uniform. They're an investigative body. How does it become an issue? I will be a call. One will come.
Professor, who you say? As a bang be security appointment on one a
last version of it before I go off your meeting, Kakra.
Okay.
And he said, you know why it is possible? So, with the president be banned, we see now, we want to say, shake up in police, shake up in army. It must stop.
Okay.
It must completely stop. It's not done. Abrofuna you see on policing. It's not done that way.
Okay.
Now it has been possible, say, the recruitment drive, any appointment drive of the military police and all the security agencies in Iran are wrong. Why is it wrong? Over 5 police in Awosungani. So I go through the ranks. No, I go to commissioner of police. We are for a fair balance. Unfortunately to them, they don't understand it. No purchase ni study oka your friends abroad until language they are account and well related. English they in India. Now the na kwa to Gonja land. Which one quiet commissioner of police, one quiet district council a commissioner, one quiet divisional commissioner. When you get your side in the country, it's not magical. It is because baby I find police no e krom ha na den beta ni krom no
okay
gari na ko down paso no bia hu se krom afijase and na krom kwa da so kunkum nipa aba na your officer in charge of krom. Let's see your performance.
Okay.
Then you say kwa da so police oni baby kwa da so ye shiwi na wini oni bo say bad you krom ni na enti bibi ba oni ni target. That is the German policing K9.
Okay.
That is the German policing. That is the Holland efficient police. Only magic. Any communication gadget in Kwa. It is where they recruit. When you are a police officer, one promote them about the DCOP. If you was that, your man is so Ghana police system. Now the na to Gambaga. Until the panisasa, when you want culture, until tradition, when you enjoy. That's the worst case scenario. Why frustrated and not a girlfriend no kumo, no di conversation. We don't free one, we didn't free other region for honor. When you are protesting by no father for and you know on father you BBS on family. But put that officer in the crew. And it's to be rising through the ranks. What better be a commissioner level, not year. And come on for be uncle crew. Your 16 regions, you have 16 commissioners, or be uncle crew. Now quiet commissioner officers from free region for be a sound German for you, sound UK for you. Into the Scotland General Police back up, you could come from any other region. But the operations in there, open your top post be uncle crew. Into one back as a new president, now make a shake up because shaking it enough for him.
Okay.
Into a cherry chromo eco pensioner. Or bet saving for chromo, into the Bian, a crobia will peace. Papa, this is common sense. This is common sense.
No.
American does that the same thing. Okay. American stop police our bronze. No fun bronze Brooklyn come from you could not track this year.
Oh, okay.
Don't find the bronze and find Brooklyn. No. Then find Brooklyn find my Queens. No. Then find Harlem.
Long Island.
Yeah, Long Island Peninsula. It's your police in Harlem or then back to Harlem. Because Harlem for boys in you or no Mashida or no my Bibiana and to be Biba or no Beco and someone said himself. Like you will be asking my dear, my dear, and Webster Avenue boys in the kitchen as my dear. And didn't call you to me in the investigation to Webster Avenue. So when your kitchen go fast, my dear. You get the point. Standing up for night. And Japan set up near change military, near change you. Or be about open for an interest. At the end of the day, no. And when I started here shake up from Kwame Nkrumah in 1957. Has there been any shake-up in the system rotation system of the police? Let me solve your problem, no. So why do you charge them? Why do we charge them? Let me know, money will be no yen Juma. A buyer say we shall put near Kaka woman in that book, and is a commissioner be officer been empower sama or my police for the area of signal near Peja also. Many penny been Nkrumah the police here, Alajo. And you can be a man so that. And now we do a man so, we do an answer that. Police the Fox, police in the very chief inspector Daku, or call intubate my building, or 3 let me car and a near team. That was rich. What I said.
Okay.
When you call it to Santa Police when you had to say ya. And so at that time, Commissioner be a no or person show power me who sampa or Bonnet Jumano, and a junior or then a signal man. Me wana papa the police I was just 30 years and then back or co-pension I had 1 year and I do not when you signal say on San Francisco then to I will Black Maria Academy. It took me and a consi patch of my penny crack I said no and you can say why because me at the car then register and nam me but say your system will be all born a Juma Sano yes and I do not policeman transfer
because what become Wabekani Yanka.
But I'm going to Pepino or the police going out to say I can come out. Wow. So Sunday say wɔse nyam nam hyɛ mmra mo deɛ macho mo me enko sunam fam ka nkosi ade hyɛ ma befa mo ka ane ne bɔne ɔyɛ ayɛ ni o
ze on ti ase ma mo nkɔ na mo fa nkosi police station no
ano kwamo mienka na awodi nipa pina ekwa tete mu pao amani pampempema wale agu odia sampa spiritual and herbal center awo wo mo yade se wo mbe mu wanya basisi a yade bi te se stroke gonorrhea anabama wale mre e wampamu low sperm count wo mo wano aduro tatahwe ene je sam ne se sabane sunsumu nsama wo mo tene te se ye sunsumu aware anasa yare bi ne de amawo pampabone anabo ana wanya abai amane court case wo betu charge osisia enam omadwuma panti ni pampempem ene be fo bokofie ekoye sunsumu nyuma edemom samosini ene enzimani akabom dia sunsumu niama asie betu obi aje wukunu anasa woyere awaresem adwumasem akwantuom nsem ni nyina aya sumasem fabadan odia sampa spiritual and herbal center obehuyan
New Koforidua ejoso ne konongo infinfin aye Ashanti region. Ehon ma number a didi juma no 054 330 4976 and I say 020 134 0421 054 330 4976 and I say 020 134 0421.
Odia Sampa Spiritual and Herbal Center. You be do us some amount.